Hey guys, so we have this last file with us. So in this one we had animated the legs and the hip. I know the fingers and all those things are left, but we'll be doing at them maybe at the end of the video. So let's keep them for last, maybe for the polishing stage. So let's start animating the chest for now, and then I'll be moving on to the head. So we can let's start with the top view first. So I'll be animating the side to side movement of the chest first. It's not mandatory, you can even animate the side view first, like it's up to you. Either ways we'll have to do both, so yeah. So okay, so for the chest, basically, especially from the top view, the side to side movement, right? So I try to give a bit more follow through or overlap, you can say, according to the movement of the hip. So the same thing will be happening in the chest, but with slight delay. So now here we can notice that the hip is moving from screen right to screen left, right? So let's keep the chest somewhere here for now. I'll be animating only the translate X for now. So I'll move it somewhat here, and then it's, the hip is coming towards screen left, so we will move the chest also towards our screen left. So I put a key and then I invert the key using the shortcut I have added, so that is Alt Q. So it's coming here now. So now we can notice that the hip has started moving towards screen right again, right? So to give some delay, I'll keep moving the chest towards the screen left. So this is our middle key, so I'll copy this key on the first frame also and just invert it so that we get the exact mirrored values on the first and the middle frame. And then I'll copy this graph and then paste it and then reverse it so that we get a left to right motion with similar values on both sides. Okay, so we have a very rough X translation in the chest. It might be like a bit more delayed, so we'll adjust it later, but for first I'll start adding rotation Y in it, because right now it looks very robotic, just moving side to side in a very linear way and in a straight direction. So we need to break that too. So I'll put a key on rotate Y. So the same thing will happen. We'll have to give overlap in the rotation, but this time the translation will be leading and the rotation will be following. So here let's say I'll rotate the chest towards this side maybe, or let's keep it like this only. So when the chest is coming towards the screen left, then I'll rotate the chest towards screen right slightly. I'm just doing the opposite for now. And let's copy both of these keys on the middle frame, that is 20, and just invert it. Okay, something is wrong, that's not working. Yeah, and I'll copy the first frame on the last frame also and turn on the infinity using the shortcuts I have, Alt 1 and Alt 2. And in the graph you can turn them on using pre-infinity cycle and post-infinity cycle. So right now the graph is very much messed up, so let's just clean it up slightly. I'll make sure the graph is smooth and it flows nicely in the infinity also, so that we get a good complete loop, seamless loop. Okay, so we have Y rotation and X translation in the chest. This seems to be working fine for now, I guess. Maybe we can add slight variation in the timing in the translation. So let's say we can make this part a bit sharper. So I'll try to keep it here for a few frames, and then sharply it comes this side, and then again the same graph copy paste. I think the translation is a bit too much, so let's reduce it. You can either select the graph, press R on your keyboard and scale the graph using middle click from the middle point, or if you are using Animbot, then you can use the select scale from average option and just reduce it perfectly. So let's check it now. Okay, let's keep it like this for now. I think these values are good enough. One thing, I feel this starting part of the rotation, right, this part, this is a bit sharp, so I'll just smooth the graph here, move down the key slightly down and copy this, paste it here and then reverse it. Okay, let's keep it like this for now. So we have the side to side movement in the chest, so now we require up down movement in the chest, so that is translation Y and rotation X. So again the same fundamentals will be applied here, like we have to give follow through and overlap according to the movement of the hip. So here you can notice the hip is coming down, right? So the chest will also come down, but with delay of like maybe 2 or 3 frames. So let's try that. I'll start with the translation first and then I'll animate the rotation. So let's say I move the chest downwards on frame 4 and you can notice the hip is coming back up from frame 4 again. So I'll keep the chest down, let's say till frame 8 maybe. Oops, this is too much. So that we get a bit more delay in the chest movement. Let's copy this graph as it is for now. We don't have to reverse it because with this one is supposed to be same for both the steps. So let's check it once. Okay, so we have some movement here. So now like this is very generic graph, like 1 2 1 2, like they are just very clean, so there is no timing difference. So let's add that thing. So here maybe we can keep it down only and then it goes back again, and let's say I'll keep it up here for 2-3 frames and then okay, this is too much. Let's try this. So basically when the chest is coming down, right, that will be a bit faster in comparison to the movement of going up because of the gravity and the foot plant. So we need to show the weight of the foot plant in the chest so that we get more weight. So I'll try to keep the down movement a bit more sharper. So what I'll do is, because now the middle frame is 20, right, and I have adjusted the keys here. So one is here, one is here. There is no key on the middle frame, and we need the same keys on the first and the last frame also. So what I'll do is I'll just put a key as it is here. So this is the middle frame 20, right? So I'll treat it as the first frame. So basically what you have to do, you just copy this graph, or let's say you copy this one key, the key on the frame 20, and paste it on frame 1 and frame 40 so that we get the same key on the middle frame and the first frame and the last frame. So now I'll copy this graph and paste it here, because you can see there is no extra key which we have added here, right? So let's do this. I'll delete this once. Yeah. Now we have the same, these 4 keys as it is in the first half also, but you can see this key is not present here. So now what I'll do is I'll copy the graph till frame 20 and then paste it again from frame 20 so that we get the same key here also. See, we have some movement in translation Y. Okay, let's keep it like this for now, and maybe we'll come back to it later. Let's go with the rotation X. I'll save it once. Make sure to keep saving your file. So again, the same fundamental which we used in the rotation Y. According to the movement of the translation Y, we will be giving offset in this rotation. So let's say when the chest is coming down, at that time the chest rotates up. So basically I am doing the reverse, and then suddenly it goes down, and when the chest is coming up it stays down only. So I'll put a key and rotate it downwards. I'm just doing very randomly for now, and then we'll adjust the timing. So let's copy this same graph from middle frame, that is frame 20. So I have made this a complete loop, and okay, so we have this bouncy movement going on here, but it's not looking good because it's too much. So let's tweak the timing and the values. So I think this up rotation, right, this is delayed for like too many frames. It's happening very, so I'll just move it backwards. And let's give a bit more sharpness to the downward rotation. Sorry, I'll just quit Skype so that we don't get notifications. So I think this is looking much better now. So let's copy this same graph on the first half of the animation. Control C and go to frame 0 and then Control V, and make sure the first and the last frame are same. I still feel this up rotation is like getting delayed for too many frames, so maybe we can reduce the delay. So okay, so now I can notice when the chest is rotating downwards, right? So it's like remaining static for these frames. So let's maybe increase the value slightly so that it keeps rotating, so we have some motion happening. Okay, I don't like this upward rotation, so I'll tweak it slightly more. Maybe let's reduce this. Okay, let's keep it like this, the rotation for now. Now we can go back to the translation, and I think we can slightly increase the value of the chest translating downwards. So let's move it a bit more downwards so that we get more weight and more sharpness. Yeah, this looks much better, I guess. Yep, this is working much better now. So we have animated the translation X, that is side to side movement. We have animated the rotation Y, that is side to side rotation. And we have animated the translation Y, that is up down movement. And the rotation X, that is up down rotation from side view. So now what's left is rotation Z animation. It's not mandatory, but it's good to add like at least rotations in all three axes. That's what I usually do, so that we get some movement in every axis, which makes it more organic. So for this one I'll go to the front view. Let's move the hands downwards so that they don't distract me. So basically what I do with the rotation Z is, whenever, like we did in the hip, right? So in the hip we had to rotate the hip upwards towards the feet which gets the weight, okay, the feet which gets planted, and then we gave a double bounce. So here also, just after the foot plant, right, whenever the foot plant is happening, to show the weight distributing through the body, we need to give slight shake in the chest also, because it's dangling. So it's because you can see it's not a four-legged creature, right? So there are no front legs which are supporting it, so we need to give slight shake in the chest. So for that what I usually do is, let's say we have the foot plant at frame 20 only, yeah, so we can start with frame 0 only. So what I'll do is, let's say maybe rotate it towards the screen left. I'm just doing it randomly, so there is no fixed way. So we know that this left leg of the Velociraptor is getting planted at frame 40, so that is again frame 0 also, because first and last frame are same. So just after the foot plant you have to give slight vibration in the chest. So right now we had rotated the chest towards this side, towards screen left. So let's say maybe after 3 frames I'll reverse the key and rotate it towards this side, so that we get this variation in the rotation. Then after 3 frames again, let's say I'll copy the same key, or maybe reduce slightly the value slightly, and again up, and then let's keep it 0 here, and I'll copy the same graph from the middle frame 20, and then I'll reverse the values and make sure the first and last frame are same. So you can see we have this weird rotation going on. So we have like a very basic keys here, so let's tweak it. So I think it's happening a bit more earlier, so we need to give slight let's say a couple frames delay. So I'll select the whole graph and move it 2 frames forward. So if this was a very big dinosaur, then maybe this, like this much intensity would have looked fine, but since this one is like much smaller, it's not T-Rex or I-Rex, right? um, so I'll just select the graph and reduce the overall intensity. So like I said previously, you can either press R on your keyboard and scale the graph using middle mouse button from the center point, or if you are using Animbot, then you can just select this scale from average option. So let's see how it's looking now. Okay, this is much better. I think you can reduce it slightly more, 1 or 2 times. Okay, so I think this much intensity is fine for this guy, but this feels a bit too fast, like a very it feels more like a vibration than a chest shake. So I'll just give more time to these keys. So I'll select these keys and then scale them, let's say for 2 frames, so that they get a couple of frames more. Let's copy this again, and now I'll copy the same graph and paste it in the second half and just reverse it. Well, let's change the hands to FK so that they move along with the chest. Something is wrong. Okay, something happened with the graph, right? Yeah. Nope. Alright. Somehow I had messed up the first and last key. I think we can reduce the values even more. So let's keep it like this. So we just have a slight hint of that movement. It's very subtle, but it's not static completely. I usually don't animate the translate Z in the chest. I'll zero out this value and I'll turn off the stretch for this. Okay, so as soon as he turned off the stretch, the chest rotated downwards. So maybe let's move the chest, rotate the chest upwards slightly. Okay, so this is not working, I guess. The shape is getting distorted when we turn off the stretch, so let's keep it 5 maybe. Yeah, let's keep it like this, so that we get a good round shape in the spine also. So that's it for the chest. The chest is done. Now it's time to animate the head. For the head, let's save it first. I'll save as the file as version 3. Okay, so for the head I'll keep the stretchy on maybe, so that we can give some back and forth movement in the chest. Let's keep the follow. Oops. Okay, let's keep the follow to 5 maybe, because we have the facility for this follow attribute in this rig, so let's use it. So what I try to do is, let's keep the follow to 2 only, so that we get, yeah, it's much better this way. So what I try to do is, like, I try to give the same movement the side to side movement we have in the chest, in the head also, but again with slight delay. Because so what I do is I'll copy the keys from the translate X and paste it on the translate X of the head, so that the exact same thing is happening now. And I'll just move the graph, let's say 2 or 3 frames forward, so that we get slight delay. Okay, and now I don't want the head to move too much left to right. I just want to give slight hint that it's connected with the chest, so it's moving but not this much. So I'll select the graph and reduce the keys. So that is one thing. Let's keep it like this for now, maybe we'll tweak it later. And when it comes to rotation Y, the sideways rotation, right, this one, so I try to keep it a bit more focused on this grid center line. So I put a key here. So basically whenever the head is moving away from the grid, so I'll just counter animate it slightly. And okay, this is not working. Right. Let's keep it like this only. And when it's rotating this side, at that time I'll rotate it here. Yeah, this is much better. Control C, Control V, reverse the keys, paste the first key on the last frame also, and tweak the graph. Yeah, so I think this is too much, so we can reduce it slightly. It would have been better if we were using a reference, but since we are not using a reference, then that's why we have to do some trial and error. So try like 1 or 2 things and go for whichever looks better. So yeah, this looks fine to me for now, for the side to side movement at least. Oopsies. Okay, let's keep it like that only. So let's move on to the side view for the head. Yeah. So what I try to do usually in my animations is, this is not like mandatory to do, like it's up to you. There are like 2 or 3 ways to animate the head. It also depends on the reference you are using, but for now what I do is, like whenever the chest is coming down, right, so with a delay of few frames I try to push the head forward. So when the chest is coming down, after a few frames the head will go forward and then come back again, and then go forward and then come back again. So let's try to do that thing here. So when the chest is rotating upwards, let's say I'll move it slightly downwards in translation and maybe a bit more backwards. So when the chest is rotating up, at that time I'll move the head slightly backwards. But this is too less, I guess. Let's increase the values. And when the chest is coming down, right, in translation and rotation both, at that time I'll move the head forward, something like a chicken or a pigeon, you can say. Oopsies. So let's keep the values more for now and we'll tweak them later. So let's copy the same graph in the second half also, turn on the infinity, tweak the graph so that the loop is working fine. So this is like too sharp here, this forward momentum, so I'll smooth it out slightly. Okay, so we have like a back and forth movement happening, but still it's very robotic. It's going in a straight line. There is no up down movement happening because of the chest, because the neck is connected with the chest, right? So it should get influenced by the chest also. So now we'll animate the translation Y also. So say here it went up. Oh, this is too much. And when it's going forward, right, at that time I'll move it down. I'm doing some experiments, so please bear with me. Let's see how it looks once, and then we'll update it accordingly. Okay, so we have this very random movement happening. So what I'll do is now I'll track the motion trail for this head controller. So you can either use the motion trail, like the default motion trail we have in Autodesk Maya. For now I'll use the motion trail present in Animbot because it's much more lighter to work with. So I'll select the head controller and turn on the motion trail. So we have this trail here. So I'll update the movement according to this now. So I'll try to make it a bit more circular maybe. So let's say here our head keeps going backwards slightly. And I think this can happen here. Yep. Let's copy this graph in the second half also. Okay, so we have this. It's very too circular right now, so let's tweak it. I think the translation Y is too much. It's going too much down. So I'll Okay, so if you just see the head, this animation is looking good to me. So we have this arc happening if you track the nose or the head controller, so we get this arc. We still haven't added rotation X, so we will be doing that too, but yeah, this is much better. So now I think it's happening a bit too delayed, so I'll just try moving the keys a couple of frames back. Let's keep it like this. Now let's animate the rotation X. So that is, let's put a key. So when the head is moving forward, right, at that time maybe I'll try to lead with the rotation first. What if I reverse the movement? let me copy this graph. If it works, then we'll keep it, otherwise we'll change it. Obviously this is too much. What if I delete these keys? Yeah, this one feels much better. So still I think this downward rotation is like happening too much, so I'll reduce the key here also. Tweak the graph slightly. Maybe reduce the overall graph. Yeah, this looks good to me for this tutorial. If you are following a reference, then it will definitely vary. The movement will vary according to the movement of the reference you are using, but I think this is fine for now. We are using this stretchy attribute in the head, right? That's why we are getting this weird shape change happening here. What if I turn off this? Nope. Yeah, let's keep it like this. Now we can even animate the rotation Z. If you want, you can give slight shake in the head also, but this is not very heavy walk, so we can go away with it. Or if you want, you can add some shake, slight shake. Let's copy the graph of the rotation Z of the chest in the head as it is. Okay, and let's see. So it looks, I'll just reverse the graphs. Let's see how it looks, and maybe delay the overall graph by 2 frames so that it's not happening exactly at the same time as it's happening on the chest. Yeah, we can keep it like we just have very slight movement, sideward rotation or the head shake happening. It's not too much, it's not too much visible, so let's keep it. And then if you want, you can add some jaw movement, but I think it's not required, or you can, let's say maybe, I don't know, let's avoid it for now. So yeah, that's it for the chest and the head. Next, maybe we will animate the hands and the tail in the next part, and maybe we can do one video for overall polishing. So let's say we'll animate the fingers, the curl which happens when the feet is taking off, and then while landing, how we can keep the fingers like chicken, pointing downwards, and maybe animate these jiggle controllers to give some fleshiness to this according to the features we have in the rig. So that's it for the chest and the head. See you in the next video, and we'll be animating the hands and the tail in that one. Thank you. Bye bye.